It's like sharing day today. Here, we're sharing. I'm going to tell you some secrets. How we built Markowski Investments. Again, I spend, I feel like I have to. I just feel like I have to. It's the right thing to do. Particularly, many of the kids that I used to mentor, I used to coach in lacrosse. Some of them want to come back. They come back work as interns for us. They come and they want to, learn about how I run my business and how everything works. Many of them are, taking business classes, finance in college, and they want no part, more often than not, they want little to no part of what we do. Why? It's really, really hard. How was Markowski Investments built over 30 years? Brick by brick, little by little, every single day. What we do, managing people's money, having a national firm, being run by my brothers and I, the three of us, started the firm. My nephew working for us as well now, and now we have some 25 offices around the country. How do we do it? Well, first and foremost, bit of an advantage in the fact that the three of us, brothers and I, we're each different, and we each have our own talents and abilities. And Matt does his thing, Michael does his thing, and I do my thing. And we bust our hump every single day, utilizing our God-given talents to build our business and help people. Some of the things that people need to understand in regards to this industry. We started it and we decided that, we were going to build a niche. First off, we're going to do things differently. We weren't going to put a velvet rope. I've talked about this velvet rope outside the door saying, hey, you can only work with us if you've got $5 million. No, we opened it up to everyone. Basically, we wanted to provide the highest level of service, a family office experience, and offer it to everyone. And again, ridiculed. You can't do that. That's dumb. You're wasting your time on all of the, they would tell you, those piker clients. Why would you waste your time on them? That's stupid. You need to be spending your money on the big ticket guys and selling all these things. And I'm like, no. Again, my brothers and I have a similar way of thinking and wanting to basically build our lives. I and my brothers, we want to spend time with our family. We wanted to coach our kids. We didn't want to go sniffing around golf clubs and country clubs. I don't go. People are amazed. I don't golf. I don't. Now all the kids are out, but I'm still. They're all in college, and I'm still going to ball games. I still don't have the time to learn how to play. That's just not my bag. I could say, hey, Chris, you got to go out and entertain. You got to go do this. No, I don't have to do that. All I need to do is to provide the highest level of service for my clients. I'm not there to entertain. I'm not there to be their golfing buddy or dinner buddy. If I have the time to do it, we have the time to do it. We're going to do it. But again, the clients that we have, they understand that because they have a similar mentality. Family-oriented people. It's a great way to build your business if you have people that think and feel the same way that you do. Anyway, 30 years, a lot of failures. A lot of falling on one's face, things that we've tried, things that haven't worked out. Again, prior to having the radio show, I did guest appearances on radio shows, which I still do. I was a lot more prolific in my writing back in the 1990s with my newsletter. Did a lot more of that. Now it's, the media's changed. The medium has changed. I don't do as much writing. I do these podcasts. I still doing the radio show, still making appearances. And it does take up, quite a bit of my time, quite frankly. That's just the reality of the situation. And by doing that and grinding away, again, we started out with a lousy 2 radio stations. Yeah, I was actually, had to mix up on my own thing, have the computer automatically fire when songs would come on, all this stuff. And again, just plugging away. Before that, plugging away, sending out mass faxes to radio station producers of talk radio shows around the country with various different ideas that I had. There was a software program back then, it was called WinFax, where I would just constantly be sending stuff out all the time. Again, grinding, because that's what it is. It's a grind. Yeah, I wrote a story about this years ago. It was called "When the Boss Shrugs." So oftentimes, after you spend years, certain people, and they'll again, it's unfortunate people have to be this way. They'll see sometimes the fruits of what you've built, and they automatically assume that boom, it just fell in your lap. They don't see the backstory. They don't see the second jobs that you were taking when you first started out, trying to build up your business, the sacrifices they make. They don't understand when you get up in the morning, the hours that you put in. Let's just be perfectly frank here, okay? And again, I make this clear. I make this clear to the kids that are coming in and asking about what I do and how I do it. I said, I'm lucky. I could handle, and I've been able to handle my schedule where I can not miss my kids' things and coach their teams and do all that. But that also means I'm getting up pretty darn early in the morning every single day. And the reality is, you own your own business. It is, you're never on vacation. You're never truly on vacation. That's part of it. Yeah, you just can't. You go on vacation, but work is still there. Work is always there. It's never going to go away. You constantly do it. You've got people that you're responsible for, not just your clients, but your employees that have to put food on the table. And that's something to consider. And oftentimes people, quite frankly, don't really appreciate. Some of the other bit of advice I would give to people that would be looking to start out any type of a startup or a new business, be careful. Be careful of taking money. I know it's easy sometimes, especially in today's day and age with venture capital throwing money around all over the place. Be careful with that. Be careful with, thinking that you need to make ridiculous expenditures on things. I'm going to tell you a real dumb one. A real dumb one that we did when we first, so we had plenty of dumb ones, we first started Markowski Investments, a photocopier. I don't know how I must have been weak that day or something like that. We got sold on having a photocopier that we barely used. Who used it was my father. He was a bit OCD with his paperwork and loved photocopying things. I think it was almost like a toy to him. He'd come into the office and use that stupid thing. Anyway, another thing, like I've mentioned before, is understand your niche. Okay, you can't be all things to all people if you want to be good at what you do. You don't find many, you don't find many Italian sushi, steakhouse. You're combining too much nonsense. Find out who you want to be doing, find out what your niche is. And guess what? Go at it and be the best at that. Another thing, and this is, again, I'm telling you things that I have been guilty of where, quite honestly, I'm learning to be a little bit better in taking more time off. Again, my wife yells at me when we're away. When we take time off, yeah, I still do the podcasts, and I'm ready to go if I need to. If I have to do an interview, I'm there. But you need to get away. Okay, the reality of the situation, when you're busting your butt, your mind gets mushy. Your mind gets mushy, and sometimes you just need to stop for a little bit, and then you start having a bit of a different perspective. You need to go on vacation. You need to take holidays. Another one, don't waste your time on stupid conferences. Again, we used to do that. We used to go, our clearing banks used to hold these big conferences, and we'd go. And again, it was okay in the sense that I bring my entire family along, kids. Sometimes I bring my parents, my in-laws would be there. I didn't care. It's like, we're all going. Okay. It's the Markowski claims going. But, more often than not, I'm just trying to get out of these ridiculous meetings. And then sometimes these people offer some of the worst advice out there. And they have their little rooms there where they're always trying to pitch and sell you on stuff you don't need. It's more often than not, it's a waste of time. Here's another one. Okay. Your office. Okay. If you don't need an office, don't spend money on one. Don't spend money on one. Again, people are still amazed at the fact that we have, one small little office space in Tampa. I'm in my house right now. Yeah, I'm in my house right now. I live in a city, and Tampa's not a big commute, but I don't waste time on commuting. I don't have to do that. Again, every business is different. And it has to be handled as such. But again, I am not going to get a fancy office with fancy artwork and all this stuff. And do people ever ask a question? I'm like, well, who's paying for that fancy artwork? Who's paying for that fancy office? My clients are. And I don't want them to pay for it. I'd rather run a, Dewey Oxburger lean, mean fighting machine and keep the costs down for my clients. It makes more sense, and it makes me a hell of a lot more efficient. Yeah, and sometimes, you know what? You can't hold on to losers. Same thing when it comes to investments. You try something out, you see how long it works, and if it doesn't, you cut it loose. Any type of marketing endeavor that we get into, I make it perfectly clear, okay, that we're gonna try it, test the waters for a couple months. If it doesn't work, we're done. So you better make sure that it works. Again, I've got great fishing captains down here in Florida. We'll sometimes, but we're out fishing out there offshore. The captain will know. We'll be on a spot for less than a couple minutes. No bites, we're out. Boom. He knows. Have to know when to, basically get out of Dodge. Here's another one. You cannot, again, and it's hard sometimes, and I'm not very good at getting rid of people, but you got lazy people. They have to go. And you have to give honest and sometimes harsh feedback to your employees in the same way that can be, a bit harsh here on the program when it comes to finances and decisions that people make, or I might be harsh with the kids that I coach. I got to be honest with them. What, do you want me to lie? No, I'm going to be honest. And that's something that you have to do as a boss. Just a few things. Again, we like to separate ourselves from everybody else. And we like the way things run here. And you know what? God willing, we'll continue to do this moving forward. Again, I know a lot of younger people, a lot of college kids listening to this program. I get feedback from them all the time. Questions, comments, whatever it may be on startups, this industry, feel free. Reach out. WatchDog on WallStreet.com.